Stillness isn't something you stumble into. It isn't a personality trait. It isn't calm genetics. And it isn't what happens when life gets easier. Stillness is a skill. And like any skill, it's trained, not assumed. Most people think stillness means stopping. They confuse it with passivity, with hesitation, with lack of ambition. That's backwards. Stillness is what allows movement to be precise. Anyone can stay busy. Anyone can stay loud. Anyone can stay in motion to avoid sitting with themselves. But very few people can remain still without losing their edge. That's because stillness exposes things. It exposes impatience. It exposes insecurity. It exposes the urge to react just to feel relevant. That's why most people never train it. They fill the space instead. Noise. Movement. Distraction. Excess. They mistake activity for progress and speed for direction. But stillness teaches you something different. It teaches timing. It shows you when to move, and when moving would actually weaken your position. It teaches restraint, and restraint is power under control. A man who hasn't trained stillness panics when things slow down. He reaches. He overcorrects. He forces momentum that isn't ready. A man who has trained it doesn't confuse urgency with importance. He waits. He observes. He lets information come to him. Stillness sharpens perception. When you're not rushing, you notice details, patterns, misalignments. You see where energy leaks. You see where effort is wasted. You see which moves are performative and which ones actually matter. That clarity doesn't come from motion. It comes from pause. That's why stillness feels uncomfortable at first. Because it removes your usual escapes. There's nothing to hide behind. No distraction to lean on. No external noise to blame. Just you. And the truth of where you are. That's the work. Stillness doesn't slow your growth. It stabilizes it. It keeps you from making decisions out of anxiety. From reacting to pressure before understanding it. From chasing outcomes that don't serve the structure you're building. You start moving less. But every move carries weight. Your posture changes. Your pace changes. Your presence changes. You don't feel the need to explain yourself as much. You don't rush to fill silence. You don't chase validation to confirm direction. Because when you've trained stillness, you trust your internal alignment. You don't need constant feedback. You don't need reassurance. You don't need to be seen working. You know. Stillness also teaches discipline. Not the loud kind. Not the motivational kind. The quiet kind. The discipline to not touch what isn't yours. To not speak when silence does more. To not act just because you can. That's maturity. That's mastery beginning to show. Stillness doesn't mean you lack ambition. It means your ambition is focused. It means you're no longer scattered. No longer leaking energy. No longer mistaking movement for meaning. You move when it's time. You wait when it's wise. And you never confuse the two. That's a trained skill. And like any skill, it compounds. The more you practice it, the calmer you become under pressure. The cleaner your decisions get. The harder it becomes for chaos to pull you off center. Eventually, stillness stops feeling like effort. It becomes instinct. You don't rush anymore because you don't need to. You're grounded. You're aligned. You're steady. Not because life stopped testing you, but because you trained for it. Stillness is a skill. And once you master it, everything else moves easier. This is Ritual POV.